Unfortunately, the four ineligible players are not with the team right now. Rich Rodriguez broke that news today at the press conference, and the quarterbacks are going to get the shit beat out of them.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Rich, the guys are waiting on waivers. Can they do anything to make
on their own? And that's very frustrating. I don't mind saying it. The NCAA's, I know, got a big job, and there's a lot of waivers out there. But for all of our guys, there's been similar situations where other players have been in the exact same scenario and have gotten eligibility or gotten injunctions that allow them to play. And so that's where our hope is that, hey, geez, that guy, he has the exact same situation as that guy over here in that state. And that judge either gave an injunction or gave some ruling that allowed them to play. And that's where our hope is with those guys. But they have to work out on their own and do everything on their own until then.
So, unfortunately for the West Virginia Mountaineers, Rich Rodriguez breaking the news here at the end of his press conference that the four ineligible players, Jamori Robinson, man, Jeff Weimer, Justin Harrington, and Ty, unfortunately, are not going to be practicing with the team for this, I don't know, probably for the foreseeable future. And the other unfortunate part that we finally got some confirmation on was, which we already kind of knew, but I'd hear it from Rich Rod. Man, I think this is frustrating because I was really hoping West Virginia would try to file for these guys. And it sounds like they're going to hope a blanket injunction or something along those lines happens for our four guys: Ty Edwards, Justin Harrington, Jeff Weimer, and Jamori Robinson. It's kind of a big blow to West Virginia. Doesn't mean that they won't get eligible yet. Certainly doesn't mean that they will. I think we're in limbo with it. So it's a big deal. It's something that I believe is not likely to happen, if I had to be honest. I wish that they would have filed something, but I understand why they didn't. West Virginia's been, even all the way to Cortez Braham, I mean, he's still kind of a West Virginia guy. I'm sure the NCAA looked at that and thought, of course, it's a West Virginia guy. It's not Austin, it's Battle. If it's not Battle, it's Cortez Braham, right? It's not Cortez Braham, it's somebody else affiliated with West Virginia. So I don't know if that's why they have or have not filed. Maybe they feel like in West Virginia the rules don't fit right, or maybe they feel like they just want to leave it alone. I don't know. But certainly I wish we'd have known when these guys were signed that this stuff was possible, rather than getting our hopes up about a defensive player of the year and, all the upside all these other dudes have as well. Because if you told me, two of the four guys, especially, if you told me Ty Edwards and Jamori Robinson were two of our 10 best players this year, I wouldn't be shocked to hear that, right? So it's like, it's a blow. And these guys are not replaceable, especially Jamori Robinson. Now, I've said this on other shows, but I think Ty Edwards is replaceable in the sense that we have other really good running backs, not really replacing his size and running style, 6'2", 230, 240, whatever he is. But we have good enough running back room to withstand that blow. Justin Harrington has the most upside of anybody, maybe on the defense, right? We know that. He played at Oklahoma in 2023 before he was hurt and was still coming back from that knee injury last year at Washington, where he only played in 8 games. So, that's a thing as well. I think you look at both scenarios and think you can pretty well damn near guarantee we're going to be okay at running back. At safety, where he plays at, we're okay. I certainly think he would be a major part back there were he on the team. And then you look across over to wide receiver Jeff Weimer, we can take that blow. But when it comes to Jamoy Robinson, irreplaceable, impossible to replace him. He's our probably highest graded NFL player on the roster for now. Preseason, I don't know what's going to shake out during the season. And also our most blessed pass rusher by a large margin, and the best pass rusher we've had in Morgantown since Bruce Irvin. It's not really very close. We've had some pretty good ones. I mean, we've had some good ones, right? Like especially inside, like with if you look at, whether that's you can go a couple different routes. TJ Jackson last year was very good. I think he was one of the better we've had. Or if you want to go back even a couple years before him, right, at one of the Steele brothers, especially Dante, you can certainly say that he was up there with Bruce Irvin. But I'm talking about a guy coming off the edge that's that good. Jamoy Robinson is that good. So, and I was really hoping that iron was going to be able to sharpen iron. At least if they couldn't play, we could find out what we had anyway, right? Like, especially with like Harrington and those guys, maybe they're not as good as we thought. And, it's not that big of a blow because they wouldn't have been that good anyways. And also you could have really got a good see. You could really test your offensive line pass protection with a guy like Jamoy Robinson and say like, oh, okay, they're holding up against that guy or he's dominating them still. And you could have really had, in my opinion, a nice little barometer check, good on good. So that's not happening right now. The quicker that this can be done, the better. I mean, there have been a couple cases where precedent's been set. Chat, that's right, Curtis. In the chat, somebody saying NCAA is dragging its feet. Other judges already set precedent for other players. West needs to have a lawyer on call ready to go if the NCAA tries to screw them over. Yeah, I think that's true, but I also think that they're just kind of hoping a blanket thing happens for everybody, and maybe it will before the year. I mean, as we get down the stretch here these next few weeks, pressure is going to come on the NCAA. I would imagine an answer is going to come. I don't think, surely we don't go into the season where we just haven't heard anything. That would be the worst. And that's probably what'll happen. That's just how things go. We'll probably start the season. It'll be like a couple days before game one. And we're all going to be on edge. Like, are they going to play or not? So unfortunate, man, really. Because like we need these dudes right now for this fall camp or summer camp, whatever you want to call it, training camp, to get them ready for the kind of style we run, right? Especially a guy like Ty Edwards, who's a big guy. You would think that he would probably be somebody that is going to take a long time to get acclimated if you don't give him these next month to be able to do that style that they do, which is really fast paced. If like Rich Rod said, they got a bunch of reps done today. So I think what we'll do now is continue to monitor it. Unfortunately, Jamori clammed up once I went public with this. I wasn't the first one, but I was one of the first people to go public with we have 4 ineligible players thing that had been said in like, I believe where I saw it, I think maybe Casaza put it up in his, because I gave credit. Casaza put it up on the board. And I was like, let me go check into this. And then I asked a couple guys, and they were like, yeah, that's a situation. And then Jamoy Robinson completely clammed up, quit answering, even though we were in talks on an NIL deal. And I'm still not sure how to feel about it because if a guy's not eligible, why would you try, why would they be trying to get me to do an NIL deal with him if he's not eligible, right? So I'm still processing that. I don't know how to feel about it, y'all, to be honest. I mean, I'm just keeping it 100% real with you guys. Like if you're not eligible to play, then an NIL deal is, if you're not going to play for West Virginia, then I don't want to do an NIL deal with you, right? So why was I almost, and why was I kind of being made to feel bad about the offer that I gave when anything should have been fine considering the circumstances? And I'm not talking about Jamori necessarily. I'm talking about those outside looking in and asking him what our deal was, coming in and saying, no, 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 just really frustrating. So, I had him a decent deal. And he was cool with it. 100%. He was ready to roll. And of course, outside forces come in and say, no, 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 you can't do this, you can't do that. Basically, he offered up on the table half now, half later, because I was struggling getting all the money raised for his NIL deal. He brought it up, not me, right? And I said, sure, we can do that, And then whenever I promoted it, the powers that be texted him and said, hey, what's going on there? How much you getting paid? Sticking their nose right in it, right? And he said, well, it's half now, half later. So it's like, holy cow, man. So I thought I told somebody to block Pat Narduzzi. He has nothing but negativity to put in this chat. He said that I reached out to him and didn't have money. You have no idea what you're talking about. I'll put up the DMs. I mean, I'll shut you down right now, brother. Promise you that ain't true. Hold on. Just because I'm that kind of guy, I really hate you anyways, man. You're always in here causing trouble. Well, I'm gonna put the DMs up just to shut you down, brother. Just to shut you down, just because I feel like that would be really funny. All right, so let me get to it. All right. Let me make sure I get to the right portion of the conversation. So, all right. Just to shut this cat down really quick. There it is. I didn't bring it up. He did. That's a bet. We can do half now and the rest later. I said, that's fine. And then there's a screenshot of somebody else jumping in and saying, what's going on here? So don't try to come at me about it. He's the one that definitely brought up half now, half later, not me. Right. So I don't really care. Like the way I feel about it now is, I didn't know there was any eligibility concerns at the time. So why was I even being solicited for this? Like, I just felt like it's just frustrating, Like, I felt like there should have been some transparency, because if I'd have done whatever it was that we did, it wasn't a ton of money, really, a few $100s. We'd have done what we were talking about, and then you're not even going to play for West Virginia. For me, that's like, what the good is that doing? So anyway, let's move on. Let's move on, guys. This guy keeps creating other accounts, I shut him down all the time on different stuff, but we'll go ahead and ban him now that he saw that. All right, so Rich Rod talked about some other things. We'll do that after the break. I think there's a couple other things we can talk about, especially concerning the quarterback battle specifically, right? Because there were some pretty cool things that he said today. I think it's definitely going to make a large impact on that battle. We'll be right back. All right, guys, this episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. That's right. We talk about 5 Hour Energy around here all the time. because that's the energy you need to get through the day, and I need. And if you want to turn the fuel up, turn it up now, because 5-hour energy transfusion brings the bold grape, ginger, and lime flavor of your favorite golf drinks, minus the alcohol, into a quick energizing shot. Whether you're sinking birdies, just making memories with friends, this is one hole in your energy game that you have to fill up now. Let's be honest, some days on the course or off it, you just need the extra boost to stay sharp and energized. Has anyone in your golf group ever tried to pull off a ridiculous bet, like a crazy wager or a hole in one shot, and how did it go down? Curious to know. Golf is about good times with good people, good flavors, of course, and the great ginger lime flavor gives you the best parts of your clubhouse to go without crashing down the bev cart. If you're 5hourenergy.com, make sure you head over there, the number 5hourenergy.com. That way you can use my promo code Locked On Golf for 20% off your order. The offer is only valid until September 30th on one order and cannot be used with other promotions. The code is not good on subscription orders, by the way. Whether you're meeting up with friends or trying to turn 18 holes into 36, get the energizing boost you need to power through today and order transfusion-flavored 5-hour energy shots. All right, guys. In segment 2, we crack open a do, of course, as always. All right, man. I know, guys. I know I shouldn't have even interacted with that person, but one of the things in life that I'm still working on as a human being is I don't need to be right all the time, but man, is it hard, especially when it comes to people like that. Guys like that will, if I'm doing business with somebody, they'll blow the whole chat up. Like, don't mess with this guy. He's a drug addict, or he's a felon, or, all those things. And so, at the end of the day, people like that drive me absolutely wild, man. And I just love putting them in their place. I know it's a bad habit and I should be above the fray, but I've always been honest with you guys to a fault, right? I'm very transparent to a fault. I don't lie about anything. As a matter of fact, I'm openly way too open. I should probably be more closed off, but that's just, it's impossible for me to do that. I would explode. So let's go over the other things Rich Rod said in the press conference that I think are definitely worth talking about. So our newsie watches Locked On West Virginia. That's true. That's a true thing. So here are what I have summarizing basically the statements from Rich Rod, guys. So he talked about Pat White for a little bit in his redshirt freshman year. He talked about the performance that Pat White had basically in practice not matching what it was in the game, right? And how it was so much quicker, right? He played so much faster. And I think that has kind of leaned into, and he said last year with Huff, same kind of deal. Tyler Huff for Jack State last year, much faster in game than he was in practice. So how do you figure out if your quarterbacks are going to be that way now this year with West Virginia? It's a great question, I think. And there's only one way, and that's to go straight live, baby. So what they're going to do is they're going to play like every week. They're going to do some live sessions with our quarterbacks to figure out who's best live. Obviously, it's going to favor probably who has the most experience, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a guy like Scotty Fox play well during these periods and stuff, right? So it is definitely a risk for injury, and that's the thing, right? You definitely do want to. You got to weigh it, but you got 5 guys. He believes he has at least 2 or 3 that he can play with. So maybe he's willing to take that chance if let's say the difference between Nico Markiel and Max Brown isn't that far, right? Maybe it's close. So in his mind, might as well figure out which one's the best. And if one of them gets injured, then so be it. But you've got to go live at least a few plays per day, right? You think at least 10 or so. You give each guy maybe 5 or 10 reps to see how he plays when it's fully live, and let him get hit. I mean, I understand it. I think it's both a good and possibly, if it works, it's going to be a great idea. If it don't work, it's going to be a horrible idea. The practice schedules are going to involve shells on Friday, Saturday, and Monday, and then they're going to transition to full pads after that. He said he liked the wide receiver group, though the intensity of the first practice was a shock. He definitely said they were all cramped up. A lot of stuff like that were happening with the receiving room. Not a bit, it's 100 degrees outside, so it's pretty hot even for West Virginia. Because definitely for West Virginia, 100 degrees. So, talking about evaluating players, he said that's just as critical as teaching the scheme to players and also the fundamentals. And that, this early period that we're in right now is all about eval. It's all about eval, where you have to evaluate these guys, like I've been saying for all off season. What have we been doing when we watch the tape of these guys? We're evaluating the players, right? Unfortunately, we don't have, and I wish we did, Power 4 tape for a lot of these guys. Some guys we have a little, some guys we have a little bit more, but even Jamori Robinson doesn't have Power 4 tape. He might have a game versus Power 4 guys, but he definitely don't have Power 4 tape, right? So even he is an unknown technically, even though I think he's a great player and I think he will be. I think he'll translate the whole nine. Still, it's something that you have to hope works. So that's another reason they're going to go full speed. Talk about the versatility offensive line. I think the goal is to develop at least 2 groups of O linemen, is what he said, and they're going to be cross trained, so you can look for guys to play center and guard and tackle, etc. So that's going to be super interesting to see who shakes out of those two groups, because we got really almost enough for 3 groups if you really want to break it down. And I love that O-line room. I mean, I don't love it. I love some of the individual players. I don't know if it's going to come together or not. I hope it does. So, he said he's not really too concerned with depth charts right now. He said he's just focusing on the players being good enough to win. I found that was interesting. He said he was still learning the players. He carries around a card that tells him he remembers faces, but he don't remember all the names yet. So he's still carrying that card around to see who's who. He said he's still getting to know him, and then he said he should know him within the next 20 or 30 days. So he also said the offensive line is a lot more athletic and deep than in the spring. So that's going to be good. We need that, and so, it leads you to wonder if we're more athletic now. Well, who did we add post spring? Let's look at that really quick, right? I think you can read between the lines on some of this stuff for sure. Let's see, transfer additions. Okay. We'll go portal tracker here, which is just for On3, which now they've merged with Rivals. I don't know how many of you actually know this, but On3 and Rivals merged. Rivals was my go-to for quite a long time. But yeah, so all right. Try to find it here. Football. Let's see. Transfer portal. I think that might be it. We'll see. I don't get this, unfortunately, it's just some of it makes no sense on here now. It's not like it used to be where I could find every little thing. It's now that the site has changed, man, is it hard to find the different things on here. Let's see. There's forms. Let's go over the Blue Lot. I don't know how many of you guys actually use this site, but it's a good site. I mean, Vernon and Keenan do an excellent job keeping this thing good to go. Let's see. Let's go to the quick links. Maybe that will help. Let's see. So they got the visit list, research database, commitments list. So that's not bad. Team rankings, transfer portal wire, portal team rankings. All right. So maybe go to commitment list. See what that looks like. So that's the 20. Okay, so that's high school. Okay. Portal team rankings, which I haven't looked in a while and seen what we were ranked. We were ranked way up there. Wow, man. Are we not in the top 50? That's not true. We are definitely in the top 50. Of course, if you take away Robinson and those other three guys, maybe we're not. Yeah, we're not in the top 50. We were in the top 10 last I looked. That's wild, dude. What the hell happened? That's crazy, man. Yeah, I mean, apparently that's where we're at with it. I mean, it is what it is. Can't change it, but okay, this can't be right. They got us ranked 16th in the Big 12 and portal rankings. That's not right. It's just something wrong with that. That's definitely just, it is what it is. Okay. Trying to figure out, let's see, post spring would be okay. So anywhere after, I guess you would say, what, March? So, all right. Michael Clay, right, is a guy. Nick Taylor's a defensive back. Christian Hamilton, wide receiver. Eddie Kelly is a defensive end. Ben Bogle was the linebacker. Kinsler is the defensive lineman. Justin Terry transferred out. Malik Ogbo came in April. So there's him. There is, and I know there are more. Let's see. But is there any way I can? Yeah, let's do transfers in. That'll help a lot. And then can I do by? Nope, I can't do by position. I was trying though. Okay. Eddie Kelly, Devin Grant, Jamoy Robinson, who came in before spring. Braden Siders. There's Aiden Bussell. Aiden Bussell, it came in May, right? Yeah, May 4th. Donovan Haslam came in May. He came the day before Aiden Bussell. Carson Lee came in April. So all these guys are, because if you're reading between the lines on Rich Rod's comments, he said, we're way more athletic than we were pre-spring, right? To me, that's a little shot at the guys that were here before spring. So that means that guys like Landon Livingston, Nick Cray, other guys, Walter Youngbear, I guess, is on that list. And it doesn't mean every single guy is inathletic. Robbie Martin's on that list. Tykees Crawford's on that list. Let's see, of guys that were before spring. I mean, so yeah. I could see that for the most part, why they would think that for sure. But I mean, I don't know. It's definitely not the be all end all, right? Let's go to break. We'll come right back, guys. Finish the episode up. We'll be right back. This is Locked On West Virginia. All right, guys. In segment 3, we're going to talk a little bit more about what Rich Rod had to say. Wanted to just have a look-see on the offensive line and see what guys came in post-spring now that we've gained some athletic ability. And from what I can tell, it looks like Aiden Bussell, Carson Lee, Donovan Haslam, Michael Clay, Aiden Bussell, Josh Isosa, Michael Clay, Malik Agbo, I'm not sure which one it is yet, are the main suspects that came in post spring. So interesting, because I think that's a little bit of an indictment against certain dudes, right? I mean, just to be honest. I mean, if you look at, let's get into the 50s here at least. Why is Satorma Mulba on here? That's Nick Malone's on here. Hey, this isn't even updated. Oh, it's 2024. That's why. I was about to say that's pretty embarrassing. Okay, so guys that were here pre would be a guy like, let's see. Obviously, we talked about Landon Livingston and Nick Cray. So Xavier Bosley falls into that category, obviously. Landon Livingston, we talked about. Cooper Young, Robbie Martin, Philip Bowser, Trevor Bigelow, which they didn't really come in until it's hard to say when they came in necessarily. Kimo Makaniole was pre as well, so that's interesting. Forgot about him. Walter Youngbear. So cool. These are all dudes that Rich Rod has just hinted at around at, like, man, we got more athletic post spring. Is it the be all end all? Like I said, no, but I think it's, there are a couple guys on that list that are definitely, that's who he's talking about. You can guess who they are. I have no clue, honestly. I know it's not Cray. He's one of the most athletic dudes on the whole team, right? So, Walter Youngbear can move a little bit. I think Landon Livingston can move a little bit. So I don't know who he's talking about, but maybe in comparison, like a Malik Agbo, super athletic. So, anyways, I know I got hung up on the O-line there, but you guys know I'm a big O-line guy. And it's the most important part of this team this year. He talked about 90% of the team lacking experience at the FBS level. Guys, that's crazy. I almost wanted to do a show on that alone, and I still may, actually. You know what? That will be a good show. I'll probably do that. We'll go and look at the roster and see who all on the roster has no experience at the Power 4 level at all. I think that's a great, great show idea. He talked about the new offensive defensive schemes. He said we have a clear vision for the offense. Zach Alley, he said he knows what's going on, but he doesn't get involved with the play calls, obviously. 115 new favorite players, obviously, is a lot. He said it's been so hot that they have been doing a 5-minute practice break. So that was crazy. He doesn't care about the preseason polls, he said. He said each quarterback has its strengths in specific plays, and they're going to definitely leverage those while playing. And he once again said, I'll play 2 guys. He keeps saying it. Now, he's either trying to set up the other teams that may be scouting his press conferences for the woo, or maybe he believes it. I don't know. Definitely ain't going to put it past Rich Rod to possibly play 2 guys. So he said if all the quarterbacks perform well, he thinks it's a positive thing, and all guys will take first-team reps until proven otherwise. So playing multiple quarterbacks, if they prove capable, they can win. He does not care at all to do that. He talked about, the evaluation issues at Jack State last year, which we brought up earlier. He said he felt their team did. He said he felt they didn't evaluate good enough last year, and that's why they got off to a slow start. And he said they didn't go live enough last year to figure out who was good at what. So that's what they're going to do this year as well. He said the initial couple practices, they're going to have to just focus on evaluating. They really can't even teach the scheme and stuff yet. So this camp is going to be getting guys into shape, with most players basically already having a pretty good understanding what they need to do anyway. Like, I'd say probably half the team knows what they're doing offensively, defensively. And so it's a mixture. Like, some guys don't, some guys have no clue, some guys know a lot, and everybody's not in good enough shape. And then he also lastly said that, they're going to need significant scheme work. But they did a lot in June. So, he thinks Mike Joseph was very successful in increasing the player's size and strength. So, there's a lot going on with this right now for sure. I think overall, it was a decent press conference. Definitely not a lot revealed. I was hoping for more specific names. Maybe we'll get that here in a couple weeks. As we get to camp, we can actually finally hone in on some guys that are playing well, because I would like to know about it. I mean, come on, it's like they can't go into the portal anymore. So it's not, what the hell. But like coaches, if they love it like this, they love it like this. If they don't have to say anything, they don't want to, right? So I guess maybe we'll have to live with the Rich Rod style press conference, but hopefully he opens up as we go along. Thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen, guys, and being part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We talk about your team, the Mountaineers, every single day. I'll see you in a little bit. I got another show planned now. I think I'm going to do that one we just talked about. 90% of the roster not playing FBS ball. Who is that, though? Who has never played any FBS ball? That's an interesting conversation I think we need to have, and we'll do it here in a couple hours, right here in Locked On West Virginia. Just give me give me not even an hour to put this media together, and I'll put that show up. We'll do it. Talk to you in a few.